To be or not to be is the question. Are the mushrooms our ancient forefathers and mothers? I asked this question from a known biologist in our country, and I also asked, do the hedgehogs and wild boars have a common ancestor? And he replied, possibly. Because eventually we all come from the amphibians, from the silly small sea creatures. And we have one trait in common. When you or I, we die, and if we end up in a right place, then our bones will calcify into the limestone and we become stones. Beautiful, isn't it? But shrooms. I really love this story, as the Western culture is totally ignorant culture. I'm not saying a little bit or averagely ignorant, but totally. And we have this worship of Christmas. Oh, Father Christmas, where are you? Oh, Santa Claus is coming. But do you know where the story of Santa Claus comes from? Yes, there was a patron saint of Saint Nicholas. Yes, that's one part of it. But those funny robes and elves or dwarfs, however you want to call them, and reindeer with a red nose and trees, Christmas trees, full of beautiful things glittering on them. Oh, it's a mushroom cult. Yes, you guessed it right. The Samis, the ethnic people of Lapland, of northern Finland, Sweden, and Norwegia. They used to hang their favorite mushrooms. Yes, you know the one, the fly agaric, Amanita muscaria. They used to hang them on, now we call them Christmas trees, on trees that are evergreen, on evergreen trees. They used to hang those mushrooms, and for the purpose of drying them, so they could eat them, munch them, and have visions of little dwarfs walking around, hanging around and giving them advice. And then the Samis in Lapland, they are reindeer herders. They are famous of walking hundreds of miles with their reindeers and herding them. And then there's this way how they measure distance, and it's called poron kusema, and it means the piss of a reindeer. How long does it take for a reindeer to take a piss? It's around 35-40 kilometers. That's the unit of measurement. But there's another thing. The local shamans, they gave the Amanita muscaria to reindeers. Reindeers love it, they just munch it. And then they drank their piss and went to make those shamanic rituals and saw visions. So that's why Western culture is ignorant, because Amanita muscaria is prohibited in quite many Western countries. In America, it's even prohibited to pick mushrooms in the forest, I've heard. I know literally people who have got fined by picking mushrooms in the fucking forest. What's your problem? You see, luckily we are in a country where there are many people who love picking mushrooms, and they know a shroom when they see it. But the big things that we see, the mushrooms, they are the fruits. They are the fruiting bodies of the whole organism. Imagine that if I get a wrinkle or a blackhead on my face, that's the mushroom, but the organism is much larger, and the organism is consists of mycelium that is under the tree roots, beneath the soil, and it's intertwining. It's just exactly like the nerves in our brain. And the trees and the plants, they have tiny roots going into the soil, and they are communicating with the mycelium, and they are receiving necessary minerals and stuff they need to live, and they are giving back carbohydrates to the mushrooms. So it's a symbiosis. They are working together. And when people think that we have green planet, that's because we have shrooms. When again we reach to the point, you die or I die, you see, one of us dies. To decompose the body, we need mushrooms to make it back into organic matter, back to the base minerals, back to the stardust. Yes, we consist of stardust, and it's scientific. Do you know why? Because long time ago, when there was no planet Earth, there was a cloud of dust that started spinning around an axis, and suddenly it became a planet that was bloody hot. And it consists of particles formerly known as stardust. And it started evolving, and organisms began evolving on the planet, eventually creating bacteria and so on, until we came along, the humans. And if I said the Western culture is the most ignorant culture ever, I must say we Westerners, or we humans, are the most ignorant species ever. We think we are the pinnacle of civilization. We think we are the smartest, we are greatest, we are the most advanced humans and beings that ever have lived. That's ignorance. Maybe the dolphins mastered this shit that we know 100,000 years ago and decided we do not need this shit, let's be telepathic and let's communicate with each other. Or maybe there are other races, and then there are people who say there is God. So there must be more intelligence than we are, and more advanced intelligence than we are. And by using mushrooms, I'm not saying you should eat psychedelic mushrooms. I have done so, but I do not recommend it. Some people find a lot of benefits from them, of reducing the levels of stress, fighting trauma and anxiety. They can find their purpose in life, etc. But there are other ways that I recommend, like sound therapy. And I just have to promote my own job, you know. But there are many more different mushroom species, not only psychedelics, when you can see those visions and elves, dwarves walking around and giving advice to you. But there are also functional mushrooms, edible mushrooms, poisonous mushrooms. You can even make shoes and handbags from mushrooms. Like Stella McCartney, she made her handbag series out of mushrooms. Some people make drums and shaman drums from the mushroom skins. Kombucha is really great for that. Kombucha is now famous beverage that we drink. You put sugar and black tea and the mushroom into the pot, and it will start growing there and giving you sparkling probiotic drink. And if you know how to make it, it tastes really good. But there are functional mushrooms that are living in the trees, that are living in the ground, that can benefit your cognitive abilities, that can benefit your skills as a person, that can help to detoxify the body, help to remineralize yourself. And there are parasite mushrooms, like we all people in the Western culture who have not been taken to the forest have yeast in them. It can if we have to a lot of diseases, sicknesses in our lives, if we need to sniff a lot, then most probably we have an yeast infection, and we get it from eating white bread and other stuff like that. So it's a common mushroom in our body. But then there are micro mushrooms and bacteria who help us to digest our food, and who are actually contributing to our well-being and to our health. They are amazing. And then there are some mushrooms in the past that were used to preserve fire. I can find some from my forest. I could even show you, if I was not so lazy, that you lit that mushroom up and it can burn for many days. It's ideal for preserving fire. But then there are mushrooms that are actually healing your body, that are giving benefits for your liver, for your brain, for your eyes, for your endurance. Cordyceps. And cordyceps is also a parasite. It multiplies in the ants. It's an ant parasite. A living ant is walking around and suddenly mushroom pops out from an ant. Whew, disgusting. Now they have found ways how to artificially grow the cordyceps. But what's the point of knowing and having all those mushrooms? And edible mushrooms, we have so many species of mushrooms that we eat over here. We cook them, we preserve them, we make a marinade out of them. Some mushrooms are so tasty when you dry them, and then you make mushroom powder or crumbled mushrooms into your salads. And then there are some mushrooms that are against parasites. But most importantly, they share 56% of genetics with us humans. Mushrooms are more relatable and more closer organisms to humans than plants. And there are different kingdoms. The kingdom of plants, the kingdom of, how do you say in English? Mammals. Not mammals, but you see things that move around. Animal kingdom, you see. And the mushroom kingdom. The great kingdoms that are not in war with each other, but are contributing and co-working harmoniously. A few days ago I went to a forest to harvest some chaga. And chaga, it's crazy how much it costs in a store, some 30 or 20 euros for 100 grams. I took 5 kilograms. I went with my knife and I started cutting it off from a fallen birch tree. And I should have taken an axe or something like that. And some purists that I know, they harvest chaga with a stone. They say that you should not use metal on mushrooms. There are many ancient traditions how they worship and how they preserve mushrooms, and many Native American tribes said that you must not eat mushrooms because they are sensible beings, that they are alive and they can talk and speak to you. And I have noticed it, that I get this calling from those tree mushrooms that grow in or on the trees, that they talk to me and they tell me what kind of remedy they have within themselves. And some people say that there's 25 types of functional mushrooms, but actually there are many more. And a few weeks ago there was discovered in Finland 2 new species of mushroom. So there can be a lot of different species, and everyone is contributing to the ecosystem in their own special manner. So these were some thoughts on mushrooms, and most probably they are our old ancient friends that we can communicate with and become wiser with their help. So I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully you had a good day, and goodbye. Please subscribe.